We are ready and waiting for you now. If it's a fight that you deceive, we've acquired our strength through pain. No more are we pathetic anyway. You are the reason why we claim that we've all become this way. And I regret this prison that I've created for myself.
You are listening to the Music is Life podcast with Lou Mavs, available on the Ratsa Review Network and distributed by Hammond Media Group. Like and subscribe wherever you get your available podcasts. And also, don't forget, there is the YouTube channel, Music is Life Podcast. Please like and subscribe and comment there. I'm really happy to say that I got my roundtable back today. I got my boys, Matt and Bob, back in the house. Matt Mikolow from Coco Mocha Media and Alphaflex Personal Training, and also Mr. Robert Mango, Bobby Boy. Guys, thank you for joining me.
Hola.
Wow, hola.
Yeah. We're not very talkative people, dude. You know this.
I know.
Not like we had a radio show for 4 years in college.
The last time I've been on a radio show with Lou lost his gallbladder.
Oh, this is true.
So wait, are we going to take bets on what's next?
Well, what do I got left? My kidneys, my tonsils, my liver. I mean, come on.
Oh, tonsils.
I
got tonsils.
Fuck.
Who wants to do a hot sauce challenge again?
Oh, no, I can't. I noticed with keto, I can't handle fucking hot sauce like I could.
How is that possible?
Something about like, I don't know. I'm just, it's hitting my body much worse. Like my whole stomach, everything.
We got to ship him a bottle of the Stargazer, Matt.
Well, when you take keto, for whatever reason, you build up more acid in your stomach. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, but we're not going to go into science.
Mm-hmm.
But hell, that makes hot sauce more fun. If you can't handle it on keto, you can't handle hot sauce at all.
I agree. When I did keto, I put hot sauce on everything and not Frank's. Not a fan. I mean, Frank's red hot sauce is good, but I'm definitely more of the...
No, that's terrible. Garbage. Sorry, Matt.
I think I'm definitely more of a fan of like the ghost pepper hot sauces. So Lucharitos Ghost Pepper, and this new one that I tried out, the Stargazer. I only got it because for two reasons. One, it was recommended on the Hot Ones Challenge. No, I'm never having that again. It's still closed in my fridge.
That I've had.
Now I'm not having the Dave's Gourmet Ultimate Insanity ever again. That was just...
Did you have Ultimate or Beyond?
Ultimate.
All right, Bob can hang out with me. Lou, I don't want to hang out with you anymore.
I can't say I remember what the flavor or taste of the that was Double Insanity, right? Or is that Ultimate Insanity?
Ultimate.
Okay, so I can't say that I recall what the flavor or taste of the Ultimate was, because by the time I got to it, my mouth was already numb by having the bomb. That was so bad. It's little, the size of my gent pedal. That's how big the size of the bomb bottle was. And I mean, Alan was screaming his head off outside my house.
Oh, you got to use that bomb hot sauce?
You can have it. I'll give it to you next time I see you. There's no flavor to it, though. There's no flavor. It's just heat in a bottle.
This one has a lot of flavor to it if you can handle the heat.
All right, maybe I'll try that after I'm done with the Stargazer. But like I said, what I was about to say.
It's hotter than the bomb, so if you can't handle the bomb, you probably won't be able to taste anything with that one.
I'll make sure I have a gallon of milk next to me. Thank you. But I did have the reason why I got the Stargazer was two reasons. One, it was promoted on Hot Ones, and also that's my favorite song from the band Rainbow, Stargazer. So, yeah, I know, metal nerd, sue me. Anyways, how was everybody's Christmas?
Great. How about yours?
Survived it, especially after we all beat COVID. We had a nice one. So we got to see family that had already had COVID, so we were safe. And we were safely distant from family members that hadn't caught it. All of us had already beaten it, but, you know.
You guys swap COVID stories, part of the club.
No, Matt actually asked me before we went on the air. No, you asked me if I had any side effects. Thankfully, my symptoms were mild, so can't complain. No stories to swap. called on Mr. Mango and Mr. Mikolow on the show tonight because I wanted to do another top 10 list. And this top 10 list is our 10 favorite concert experiences. The 10 concerts that we enjoyed the most out of the countless, I think it's safe to say thousands, that we've all seen. I've been seeing concerts as early as February 1999. You know, when I lived with my old roommate, Alan, I think we were seeing 1 to 2 concerts a month before I was married. I miss going to concerts, you know, especially with the pandemic that's been going on and the fact that the touring industry has been shut down, well, aside from all industries being shut down for the most part. I'm looking forward to concerts coming back once things subside. Let's just hope that happens sooner than later. How long have you guys been going to concerts?
Since I was 16, 96. I went to see, well, I'll reveal later on my list because that actually made my list.
Yeah, my first concert experience made my list too. Matt, how long have you been going to concerts? I think you told me a long time ago your first concert was Wu-Tang Clan and Rage Against the Machine, right?
That was my first concert. And that's what made me get into rock music. Before I listened to hip hop.
Mm-hmm. And I think Atari Teenage Riot was the opening act.
I don't know who was the opening act.
Nobody ever cares about the opening act. I remember our buddy Jay Crawford told me that the one time he saw Rage Against the Machine at the drive-in was the opening act, and he absolutely hated it. But then I gave him a copy of the album, and he's been a huge fan of theirs since then. So I think it's safe to say that some bands, some music just doesn't cross over correctly in an arena setting. Better in a club.
Yeah, I'd say so.
We're going to start with our concert list. Matt, go first.
Oh, damn.
Wait, no, his name's Sunshine.
That's my new name. I'm Sunshine. I'm just that happy. Fuck you guys.
Jesus.
Matt's going to London. He's like, you mess with me, I'll kick your ass, Sunshine.
I guess I'm not really doing a list. I already know what my number 1 concert is, but
that's fine.
That's how I'm going to keep it. I guess I'm going to put Wu-Tang Clan and Rage Against the Machine because honestly, I wouldn't even be listening to any music for these concerts had it not been for that. And I only went for Wu-Tang Clan because I had no clue who the hell Rage Against the Machine was. Then I saw people beating each other up in mosh pits and the energy. I was just like, I love this energy. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I don't know the music, but the energy was just addictive. And I kind of got into music more because of the addictiveness of the adrenaline from the concert than the actual music at the time.
So how much blood you can actually get out of a human being increase your concert going experience that much more.
So, and they are, to me, Rage Against the Machine is one of the best live bands.
I'll agree with that.
Wish I had known.
You never, oh yeah, that's right. You've never seen Rage Against the Machine, and I saw them like 1,000 times.
They broke up early compared to like when I was going to concerts. I just never got out to see them.
Yeah.
I was probably going to get them if they toured again somehow.
If it wasn't for the one, well, they were supposed to tour this year.
Yeah, I know.
If it wasn't for the one free concert that they had outside the David Letterman Theater that I went to with Matt, I would have never seen them.
Oh, that was a fun concert just because of, you're like, so why are these guys all behind me? I'm like, that's where the pit's got to start. And then the pit literally opened up right behind Lou. And I was protecting him because he's never been in a mosh pit. And I literally twisted my whole stomach. And my body went one way and my legs went the other way. I'm holding Lou back from getting demolished in a mosh pit because he's never been in one. And then after the cramp went away, I went in there and jumped around a little bit. But I also had a cramp that whole time, so I didn't go in the mosh pit.
I will say this, I'd been to a couple of hardcore concerts where, like, you know, I was near the pit and seeing them doing windmills and stupid karate kicks, I was just like, compare that to a Rage Against the Machine concert, I don't know if hardcore kids could survive. Definitely a fun concert experience seeing them. I'm glad I experienced it with you, Matt. Bob, you're next.
For my 10th one, I figured I had to include a Billy Joel. So I'd seen him at MSG a couple of years ago. And it was the first time I ever saw him. And it was a 2.5, 3 hour long karaoke.
Was this at the beginning of his residency at the Garden?
He'd been doing it for a little while. So I wouldn't say at the very beginning. It was out for at least a year or so. Mm-hmm. And the seats we had, my friend had gotten us, were directly behind the stage. So it was the back part of the Garden. It was literally behind the stage, the first row. So absolutely amazing experience.
Bob revealed to me before the show that he had a shoebox of concert tickets, so he picked from the shoebox. I picked from an old Boss Chorus FX pedal box
Oh,
where all my concert
I
tickets
wanted to
are.
show you something while I found that, actually. A lot of you metalheads and whatever would recognize this.
Slip Disc Records from Valley Stream, rest in peace.
Iconic store.
Yeah. How long have they been out of business now?
Oh, years. Got to be at least 5-10 years now.
Yeah. We had two indie music stores in Astoria. One was called Sound City, where I used to buy t-shirts and used CDs and new stuff. Actually, I got Pantera Far Beyond Driven the Saturday before it was released from that store. So when it went to number one, I said, that's because of me, because I bought it first. There was that, and there was Underground Sound, where I would go get all my hardcore and punk CDs too. So that was great. But anyways, my number 10, I don't know if you guys can read it. This is my concert stub for Iron Maiden at Jones Beach 2012 Made in England tour with Alice Cooper as the opening act. And Alice actually had Orianthe, who was Michael Jackson's last guitar player in the band at the time. She was amazing. Now he's got Nita Strauss, who's just as amazing. This was the Made in England tour where they sort of paid homage to their 1988 tour, which was the Seventh Son of a Seventh Son tour. I got to see Maiden perform songs that I never heard them play before just because they hadn't been in the set list in years. So to be able to see those songs and hear that, and they did the mainstays. They did Fear of the Dark. They did Aces High. They did, Hallowed Be. Actually, I don't know if Hallowed Be Thy Name was on that tour.
They usually play that.
Couple of tours they actually dropped it. A couple, not many, but a few. I don't recall if that was one of them. This was the best time I had seen Maiden, and I had seen them 03, 05, 06, 2010, and 2012. Yeah, the last time I saw them, 2012, that was the best I had seen them. Yeah, they're a band like a fine wine. They just get better with age. And their last album, Book of Souls, was amazing. I remember, though, they moved us closer to the middle of the arena because there were some empty seats there. So we got to see them closer, which was pretty awesome. All right, Matt, you're next.
I'll say Fear Factory.
Ooh. Good
When you gave me and Bob free tickets, and we're supposed to interview Dope, and we basically, Static X was on, and as soon as Fear Factory went on, and we finally got the chance to interview Dope, we're like, fuck that, Fear Factory's on, we left them there. This isn't a mock at Dope. They're all right. It's Fear Factory. And I got to jump kick a guy in the nose who was being a dick to all the kids.
And that was at the peak of Fear Factory's success. Yeah, that was with the Obsolete album.
Yes.
And I got to play my first Fear Factory song on guitar a few days ago.
Which one was that? Which song?
Demanufacture. It's so easy to play, but it's so cool.
Well, I mean, the chord structure is not the difficult thing. It's the picking. If you could pick like Dino, then you've already won the battle. But he's got one of the fastest rhythm hands. So I just wish they'd get their shit together. I would love to hear more music. Mechanized was such a great album.
Oh, they're done. They're done.
Yeah, I know.
There is no coming back now.
Yeah, no, Burton came out and basically said, fuck Dino.
Yep. Burton's no longer part of the project. They were suing each other over the rights over the band. I think Dino's won the rights now, so. But they're not Fear Factory without Burton.
Speaking of bands long lost, gone, now returned, System of a Down is back.
Well, yeah, they came back and released an EP so they could raise money for Armenia, which I thought was a cool cause.
That's about right. That's usually what they do.
Well, that's the only time they could ever get along anymore. And it's just funny, though, because, like, I did not realize how different their opinions on politics were. Like, you take someone like Serge, who is very far left of center, and then you have John, the drummer, who's totally right of center. It's like, how they just said, okay, we'll keep our differences aside and we'll release the song as is. I think it's great that they were able to pull their political differences aside. I think actually their biggest point of contention is the fact that Darren wants to be the primary songwriter. That's what's stopping them from releasing new music. It's not even a difference of opinion. It's a clash of personalities between Darren and the rest of the band. But no, they were a great band, and I love them. Their debut album, I still listen to it repeatedly. That's at Fear Factory. That's 1999 at the Roseland Ballroom. Bob, you next?
All right. I'm going with a show where I saw a rock god who's no longer with us. Amsterdam, Rikers Island.
Oh, you want the prison to see it? All right.
Yeah.
Bob, I think you mean Randall's Island, not
Was it
Rikers Island.
Randall's?
Yes, Rikers Island is a prison.
I knew it was one of them.
Oh, would they have fun with you at Rikers, Bob?
I don't really ever pass by there too often. I don't know the names to them. But anyway, it was Randall's Island, you're right. It ended up being LL Cool J, Busta Rhymes, the Foo Fighters, and topped off with Tom Petty.
That's an interesting concert.
Yeah, it really was. At one point, Petty came on and played with the Foo Fighters. It was absolutely a great show. And yes, it was sponsored by Heineken.
Nice. I know that Dave Grohl had played with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers a couple of times. Actually, when after Kurt had died, Tom Petty was on SNL, Saturday Night Live. He asked Dave Grohl to be the drummer for that show. Maybe it wasn't with the Heartbreakers. It might have just been Tom Petty solo, because he was supporting Wildflower. Was that the album?
Yeah, Wildflowers.
What? Yes, he was supporting that. So Dave Grohl was drumming for him for that performance, which. I love Tom Petty. He was such a great, prolific writer.
Phenomenal.
Music sucks without him.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So my number 9. I've been into this band since about 2005. Went back and got all their albums. Finally got a chance to see them in 2013 with my wife. We went to New Jersey to go see them. And it's the band Muse. Now, I had such a blast at the I felt like I had only seen Muse concerts on MTV HD, and just seeing the light show that they would put on, seeing how the crowd would react to them, and just seeing how the fans would sing the music back to them, and just pandemonium in the stadiums that they were playing. And here I am seeing them at the Izod Center, the former Continental Airlines Meadowlands Arena. And I tell you, seeing them in concert, it was almost like somehow they brought the European crowd with them. I had never felt the ground shake at an arena concert until Muse breaks out into the breakdown of Nights of Sidonia, and everybody's jumping up and down, up and down. I'm feeling the floor shake. I told my wife, I said, if we die tonight, at least we know we had a good time. And it was an amazing concert. Dead Sarah was the opening act. They were very, very good. Everyone needs to see Muse at least once in their life. My wife has seen them twice now because I got her tickets to go see them at the Barclays Center. They did the 92.3 alternative rock radio Christmas concert there 2 years ago. So got her and her sister Melissa tickets to go see them. So jealous. I'm like, damn it, I'm a bigger Muse fan than you. I've only seen them once. You've seen them twice. Anyways, that's number 9 for me. Love Muse. Matt, you're next.
This one I'm going to put as 2 concerts in one. I know it's kind of cheating. But Trans-Siberian Orchestra, the first time I saw them, was the best concert. But I don't like the first time I was with when I saw them. So I like the first time I was with and the second time I saw them.
I won't ask you to divulge who it was, but that's cool.
Well, the second time was with Cindy, so it's a good showdown. But they're just an amazing band to see live.
You saw them last year?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Yeah, I had seen them 3 times in concert. They never put on a bad show.
No, I have a hard time figuring out which, the first time I saw them or the second time I saw them. I enjoyed myself more the second time, but I was more, it's like the first time. So,
well, normally I would say that the company you're with helps make the concert experience better. So we'll just say the second time because it's Cindy.
Yeah, we'll go with the second time.
And we love Cindy. And we love Cindy Gyram of Coco Mocha Media and the Good News podcast. Available on all your podcast formats. Look them up. Plug for Cindy. Anyway, Bob, you next.
So this one is going to shock both of you. And the only reason is because this is what I'm going to say is the whole entire experience. Because the actual artist isn't someone that's going to be high on any one of your lists.
Justin Bieber.
No. But very good guess. No, I'm talking about the great,
Rick Astley. Never gonna give you
great
up.
musician who's been around since the 80s, Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh,
I had gone to see him upstate somewhere in like Westchester, or right around there. My friend who could magically get great tickets got us seats the first row dead center. At one point, Weird Al climbed into the crowd and climbed over my shoulder to get beyond me. And then afterwards, we waited outside the arena and waited by his van, and he did autographs and pictures.
that's awesome. I
So
love Weird
that
Al.
whole experience, I was like an 8-year-old kid again.
He's a bucket list for me, definitely.
Oh, you're going next time.
Okay.
I have someone else that wants to go too, that has never gone.
Would
No,
that be-
not Sam. No, not Sam.
Not Sam. Okay. All right. Well, you should
We're gonna crack your out, Cherry Lou.
You could bring Sam too, though, because chances are Aaron would want to see him because Aaron's a fan too. So.
Oh no, she won't go.
Aw.
She does not like the great one. The man who made one of the funniest movies ever.
I love UHF.
Surprise!
Stupid. You're so stupid. I love that. Supplies. I forgot about the supplies line.
Supplies!
Anyway, all right, cool. So I'm next. Number 8 for me is the first time I've seen Metallica. In November 1999, I went with Matt and 2 friends of ours, Jay and Eddie. This was the Symphony and Metallica concert. And I think they had only done 2 of them. One in
Correct.
San Francisco and one at Madison Square Garden. So that was my first time seeing Metallica, and I was completely blown away. The symphony orchestra just brought the experience of hearing these songs for the first time this way live. It just added to it. The way I feel about Load and Reload, I feel like if you took the best songs off those 2 albums, you'd come out with one great album.
Agreed.
And 2 of my favorite songs are Outlaw Torn and Bleeding May.
Oh yeah,
So
this is a great one.
for me, hearing those 2 songs and one in the context that they were played, it just blew me away. You know when you go to a concert and you get like those goosebumps, those chills when you're hearing a band just play a song a certain way? Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me with those 3. Big up to Metallica on that. And of course, Matt's up next, and he walked away. Oh, Matt, you joined us again. Great. Magically appeared. Clever editing. All right, Matt.
That's what I do. I disappear and appear. So the next concert on my list is going to be the same damn concert you said, but it's not the first time I saw Metallica. Though my first time I saw Metallica will also be on my list, but that will be revealed later on.
I won't spoil it. I had a blast going with you, man. That was a blast.
It was fun getting ready for the concert. We were listening to Apocalyptica on the radio station. It was a really good time.
Yep.
And a once-in-a-lifetime time because they only did it twice. Well, I guess a twice-in-a-lifetime time. But I wasn't going to San Francisco.
True.
They did it again.
Yeah, they did S&M too. They added songs from the last album, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, into the set list.
But Jason wasn't there.
No, Rob is in the band, so he was there.
So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't liked him since Rob got in the band. I don't have nothing against Rob. Ever since St. Anger, I've just not been a fan of Metallica.
I really think you need to listen to Death Magnetic. It's a very good
Yes.
album.
No, I usually disagree with Lou. I'm going to agree with him on this one. I had my hesitations too.
I have
Really heavy album.
I'll put it to you this way: if I didn't love the album as much as I did, I wouldn't have gone see them at the Coliseum in January.
I can't agree with you. Like, while yes, we can talk and debate about the albums, and I'm not critiquing them as artists, and I don't know why after St. Anger I just kind of fell off on them, and even to this day, like the old Metallica stuff that I grew up and loved, and actually Metallica was one of my reasons I played guitar. Was all I used to try to do was learn Metallica songs back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I guess I outgrew Metallica in some ways. I just don't enjoy them like I used to. Even the old stuff. I don't know why. It's like weird. Like you think about bands and how you like certain bands and they grow as you get older. Other bands stick around. Like Rage Against the Machine, I don't listen to them like I used to either. And they were like my favorite band. Maybe it's all the politics that's just gotten too far and I don't really agree with it completely. Or maybe it's just, I don't know. Like without Zach there, I just kind of lost interest. I don't even listen to old Rage Against the Machines like I used to listen to Rage like nonstop. And Metallica's another one, and even the old stuff, I don't really listen to it like I used to. Pantera, on the other hand, I don't stop. Tool, forget about them. Like, just listen to Tool like nonstop, but they fall off. Even Korn, surprisingly, I've actually liked Korn more as time's gone on. So it's like, it's really weird to see what bands last the test of time in a person. So you should do an episode on that next.
I agree. And by the way, to add to what you're saying, that's how I feel about Typo Negative. I mean, they haven't released an album since 2007 because, rest in peace, Peter Steele. But the older I get, the more I look back on those albums and go, wow, I just love them more and more as we go along, living. And I will say this though, when I hear Bomb Track, I still get hyped up when I hear that song because that's just a great fucking song.
I still like Rage Against the Machine. I still can appreciate the songs. I listen to them, but I would listen to it. Like, I could listen to Rage Against the Machine all day, for example, and Metallica all day, and I just can't. Now I can listen to Tool all day now. Like, literally, I do listen to Tool practically every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't listen to Tool every day when I was younger. Like, I like Tool, but it's just how it is. And Korn is another band I can actually literally listen to all day. Like, I can appreciate the songs now more than I'm older. Like, I didn't really know the lyrical content as well as I feel like I do now. And maybe it's not that I know the lyrical content of what Jonathan was writing about, but it just speaks to me in a different way than when I was younger. When I was younger, it was all like, all right, whatever gets me amped up is what I really like for the most part. It's like, we got Rage Against the Machine. You go to a concert, the concert's absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I guess it's old age. I'm becoming old.
Fair enough. By the way,
I got a few white hairs on my beard now. I'm an old man.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Fair enough. But to add to that, if you haven't heard Fear Inoculum by Tool, what the hell are you waiting for? Listen to it. And the re-release, the remastered Reinventing the Steel from Pantera sounds better than the original releasing. So check that out too if you can.
I will say the Fear Inoculum, when I was younger back in college, there's no way I would have appreciated that album.
No, probably same here.
Now it's just like, it blows my mind, and it's like, I literally listen to it to like relax. I listen to it when I'm trying to, like, if I'm trying to type something, be creative, I put that on. It's like a drug or something. It's like I can do all sorts of creative things when I have that on. It doesn't even matter what it is. Like, if I'm writing a blog article about fitness, I have that in while I'm writing the blog article. It's just, it makes like things tick in my brain or something. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I get it.
But
Anima's still my favorite Tool album, but the album that I listen to the most at this point is Fear Inoculum. I'm hearing things I haven't heard the first time listening to it. So
every time I listen to that album, I feel like I hear something different. There's only one song that makes me feel that way too. That's not by Tool. Yeah, that one song is All on the Watchtower by the cover of Hendrix. Like, I always hear different sounds every time I listen to that song. And I love stuff like that. Like, that's like genius stuff to me. It's like when you can get to that level where you can hear the song and it's like 1,000 different times. It's like always different.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how can you not love it?
Check out the Frank Marino version when you have a chance. Frank Marino, he's a Montreal-based guitar player from the late 60s. And he did a great cover of it too. So check him out.
I'll check it out.
Bob, do you have anything to add to that in terms of Rage or Tool or...
I listen to them both all the time. They're two of the bands that I never ever stopped. I pre-ordered Fear. I love the album. It's fucking amazing. And yeah, that's about it.
Cool.
I can't say enough nice things about Tool.
No, they are amazing. And all right, your next concert.
So you actually touched on it a few minutes ago, since we're in the Metallica mood. That Metallica at the Coliseum, the one that you went to, that I actually sat in the skybox. First time I ever had that experience, both at the Coliseum and for a concert. And very awesome way just to overlook the whole crowd, the whole stage. Thank you to Newsday for those tickets. Very thankful for the open bar. Yeah, I mean, just to see Metallica, period's an amazing time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the Hardwire tour, right?
No, that was Death Magnetic.
Oh, Death Magnetic, sorry.
Yeah.
Death Magnetic. And I remember that album. I almost refused to listen to that album. That's why I never bought tickets when I went on sale. And when I finally heard it, I'm like, oh, this is good. And that show was amazing. The Machine Head opened up.
Machine Head and the Sword.
Machine Head, very disappointing that night.
I agree. The Sword were far better. I mean, Black Sabbath is my all-time favorite band, and they just remind me so much of. They have that Sabbath sound, down-tuned, loud, distorted guitars, and the great, rhythm section. If you're gonna rip off anybody, you rip off the Kings. The guys who invented heavy metal. I will admit, though, Machine Head did do a great cover of "How Will Be Thy Name" that night. That was awesome. My next concert, all right. So this is a band that I hated when they first came out. And then they were the actual opening band of the first concert that I ever saw. And I fell in love with them because I got to see them live. And they had just released their self-titled album in 2003, and they did a guerrilla tour where they only announced like 2 or 3 days before they were going to play that venue. And then when I found out, I immediately got tickets, and it was at Webster Hall in the Village in the city, and that was Deftones in May of 2003. Now, up until this point, I had seen Deftones 3 times. Again, first concert I saw. Then I saw them at the Roseland in 2000 with Glassjaw. 2001 at Jones Beach with you, Bob.
Is that Godsmack?
With Godsmack. Deftones played for 3 hours. Not a bad selection. And the next thing you know, 11 o'clock hits, and the fans still want more. And the venue starts turning the lights on and everything. They start unplugging the PA. The Deftones come out again, and they're like, "You guys really want to hear one more?" And the fans are going crazy. So all of a sudden, Steph, the guitar player, breaks into engine number 9. The place goes fucking apeshit. And I don't remember any time that I'd gotten an adrenaline rush that much at any concert. So yeah, for me, Deftones, they're there.
Nice.
All right, Matt, you're next. By the way, I really gotta hand it to you. Playing guitar as soon as it's your turn, you take it off mute and go, "My favorite concert."
I'm going to put Ginger in there with you.
Yes, Ginger at the Gramercy in October 2019. That was great.
I wanted to see Ginger before they become big and do big arenas. I got the chance to see them in a small venue. Also crowd served. And the funny thing is, apparently her voice was bad that night, according to her. First concert I went to, I was actually on the floor in like decades. So, yeah, that was a fun time.
That was a great time. Yeah.
Old man in the pit.
Yeah, you look better than the young kids in the pit. I mean, come on.
That's true, but still.
They could have learned something from you. Come on. All right, Bob, you're next.
So I'm going to list probably the best touring band ever in the history of touring bands, Guns N' Roses.
I noticed a hint of sarcasm in there.
No. I mean, if you want just biggest success, Guns N' Roses. And this was on the reunion tour.
So this is when Slash and Duff were back in the band.
Correct.
Okay.
This was October 2018, I want to say, at MSG. But, I mean, just seeing the original members of Guns N' Roses, making me wish I had seen them when I was like 14, 13. But they put on quite a fucking show, and they're just one of the greatest bands ever, in my opinion.
I love GNR. I had seen them in 2006 at the Garden.
You know they're not Guns N' Roses without Slash. There is no world that Guns N' Roses exist without Axl and Slash together.
The truth is, I feel like that's an iconic duo as much as Steven Tyler, Joe Perry, or as much as David Lee Roth, Eddie Van Halen.
More.
So, yeah, I agree with you on that. However, I got to give it up to the 3 guitar players who were in the band at the time, Robin Fink from Nine Inch Nails, Richard Fortus, and Bumblefoot, Ron Thal. I thought the 3 of them did a great job. And Axl was on his game that night. And it's funny because they didn't take stage until 11:30. And no, they weren't late. They actually showed up on time. But Sebastian Bach and Papa Roach were the two opening acts, and
Oh dear God.
yeah, and Sebastian took stage at 9 o'clock, Papa Roach at 10, and then GNR at 11:30. So the concert ended like around 1:30. And I was just like, wow, that's like $10,000 in union fees, extra overtime past 11 o'clock. How did they get away with that? Because Dream Theater, they went 2 minutes over at Radio City Music Hall. They ended up owing $20,000 in overtime fees to the unions. So I guess if anyone could do it, it's Axl.
Oh yeah.
I saw Velvet Revolver, so I got to see Scott Weiland with Slash. That was cool, but it's nothing like seeing Axl with Slash. So rest in peace, Scott Weiland, of course. All right, my choice. So this is the second time I had seen this band. My brother Mikey, God rest his soul, was supposed to take me to see them on their 94 Counterparts tour, but he ended up not getting me a ticket. So I was very hurt by that. The first time I saw them was at the Barclays Center in 2012, well, with my brother-in-law. I went to go see them on their 40th anniversary tour, which ended up being their farewell tour. Their drummer, who some would say is the greatest rock drummer that ever lived, Neil Peart, passed away earlier this year from brain cancer, and he is beloved, he is missed. Unfortunately, this band is no longer with us, but the memories and the music that they gave their fans is immense, and that band is Rush at the Garden in June of 2015. So glad I got to see this concert. I mean, I never thought three Canadians could make such noise and such great music, and just pulling out songs that they hadn't performed in 20 years and just gave the fans something special to say goodbye with. It was beautiful. All right, Matt, you next.
I'm gonna say Rage Against the Machine at Nassau Coliseum, which I know I've seen 1,000 times at Nassau Coliseum, but I don't remember the date. So you just gotta take it as Rage Against the Machine at Nassau Coliseum and accept it as it is.
Do you remember the year at least?
They played with Gangstar. I could be wrong about that.
I think that might have been the Battle for Los Angeles tour then.
It was definitely about Los Angeles time. I don't know which one, but it was kind of fun because I was like in nosebleed, and I rushed all the way down, still got on the floor. It was fun watching the whole entire rush of people just jumping over the things. The guard just kind of gave the hell up.
Yes, 20,000 Rage Against the Machine fans can't be stopped or wrong.
It was just a really good show, and didn't want it to end.
It looks like it happened in '99.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right, so it was the Battle for LA tour. Okay.
Well, it was definitely after the Battle of Los Angeles came out.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, Bob, you're next.
This next one, let's just say not only just seeing the show, which was an amazing show to begin with, but the fact that I was let's see, I was heavily drunk, among other things, at Rammstein at Nassau Coliseum back a couple years before we saw them at Jones Beach. Say about maybe 2014 or so.
I don't remember this
2012,
tour.
2011, actually. I'd say it's farther back even.
Was this directly in support of Liebes für Alda?
I don't know.
Okay. I didn't even know they were in Nassau at that time.
It was one of those, like, first time in like 10 years they were back here or something. So I rushed, got tickets, and what a show. They played Mind Tile. That was my highlight, seeing them take a man and put him in a cauldron and light that cauldron on fire. That one. You know, him riding a giant raft into the crowd back.
Was that during Reise Reise by any chance?
Might have been. Or they opened up with Reise Reise. I don't know. It was just an amazing show.
Yeah, Rammstein's amazing.
End, a giant penis shooting white foam into the crowd during Pussy. A great way to close the show.
Yeah.
Cover all your fans in white foam from a giant penis you're riding.
But you're right, though. That I think this was like the first time in 10 plus years that they had played New York, not just New York, but the States. The last time they were here before that was for their Motor tour in 2001. Where I think the opening act was Crossbreed. I remember we were serviced with their album at WSJU, but that album was horrible. I was like, I'm not playing this shit.
I believe I went to that show.
I think you might have.
It was at Roseland or something, or Hammerstein or
It
something.
was
One
at
of them.
Hammerstein.
Yeah, one of those places. I don't even remember so many.
There were 3 huge concerts that happened at Hammerstein that year in 2001. One was Pantera with Morbid Angel and Soulfly and Nothing Face. And then there was the Rammstein concert. And then there was the Disturbed concert that happened later in the year. Oh, I can't take away also, there was the Twisted Sister reunion that year where they raised $60,000 for the first responders for 9/11. So they had actually reunited for that. So, okay, so those are like the 4 big concerts at Hammerstein that year.
Want me to tell you a spoiler alert?
Go ahead.
Pantera didn't make my list.
Really?
They didn't make mine either.
They're like my favorite. They're my favorite band. That and Tool are the top 2 bands I always go back and forth with, who I like more. Which is kind of funny since it's so opposite. But
To be honest, I haven't been impressed with them when I've seen them live.
yeah,
That's probably because when we saw them, it was right at the point where Phil was at his worst with substance abuse, and he admits it.
Yes. You could tell on stage when he's rambling for like 15 minutes in between songs. Like, shut the fuck up and play.
I mean, he might as well have had codeine in his whiskey. I mean, who knows? For me, Pantera was all about Dimebags, so I was able to overlook that. All right. So my next pick, so as I mentioned before, Black Sabbath is my all-time favorite band. And I had seen them 3 times with Ozzy. And then in 2007, they announced that they were reuniting with Ronnie James Dio. Now, for me, I don't compare myself to other Sabbath fans because some of them are either Ozzy only, or some of them are only Dio only, or, well, it's really those 2. But, I also love the stuff that they released with Ian Gillan, with Glenn Hughes, with Tony Martin. So for me, it's like I'm a fan of Black Sabbath, not just the original lineup. So when I heard that they were reuniting with Ronnie James Dio, my buddy Alan and Tom Crimmins and I had gotten this ticket for Tom for his birthday because he had never seen Sabbath. Well, no, he had seen Sabbath with Ozzy, but not with Dio. So I got him this as a birthday gift. And somehow we managed to get center stage 3rd row seats at Radio City Music Hall. And it was the Heaven and Hell reunion tour, 2.5 hours of Black Sabbath, Dio era music. Just to hear songs like Neon Nights and Mob Rules and Heaven and Hell, I felt like I did when I was listening to those albums for the first time when I was younger. I mean, Sabbath with Ozzy and Dio, Tony Iommi, the guitar player, is the combining factor between both of them, because for me, as long as it's Tony Iommi, it's Sabbath to me. But it sounds like 2 completely different bands because Geezer Butler, the bassist, wrote the lyrics for Ozzy, most of them. Dio was his own lyricist. A perfect combination of their personalities put through their music. Dio is all about like metaphors and symbolism and things like that. So it was just wonderful to see them. And we miss you, Ronnie. Rest in peace. That's my choice. Matt, you're next.
I guess I'm gonna put Korn. They actually play better now than when I was younger. The voice is better. Obviously, the drums are better. I like the new drummer. And
You prefer Ray to Dave?
yeah, they're just so much tighter with Ray there.
Mm-hmm.
And the show was just awesome because now it's not only just all the other groups so far I've said, it's because of the main headlining band, but it was great to see Alice in Chains too. It was like, I know they're not real Alice in Chains without Lane, but Alice in Chains is one of my top 5 favorite bands. So just to get a little taste of what I would have been able to see, it was just nice to hear the guitars, the instrumentation side of it. And yes, the guys' vocals are good, but they're not Lane. Nobody has the pain that Lane has, but they're pretty spot on. But it was nice to see both of those bands together, and had a really good time with some really good friends at the concert, and just amazing to see. What can I say?
I felt that way. I felt that way when I saw Alice in Chains open for Velvet Revolver. I was like, well, Will Duvall is not Lane, but he's doing a great job paying tribute to Lane's songs. even though Jerry Cantrell was the primary songwriter. But no, I think I love the stuff that they put out. Black Gives Way to Blue is an awesome album. I love the fact that Jerry Cantrell is still putting out material under the Alice in Chains banner. He's still got Mike Inez and Sean Kinney in the band, so I don't feel like Will takes away from it. I'm happy with his contributions to it. Yes, I do miss Lane. I got respect for Will Duvall, so he just good with that. I want to ask you a question though. I remember a while ago because we were talking about Ray Loser, and I think I mentioned to you that him and John 5 had played with David Lee Roth for an album. And I know you're not a David Lee Roth fan, but I sent you the MP3 for Slam Dunk. What did you think of the musicianship that they had on that song?
The musicianship, well, anything John 5 touches, he's an amazing guitar player. It's like, if I had to pick one of like the most amazing guitar players of this time period, to me, it's like you look at the technical side and the sound side of him. He doesn't even use tons of effects, but he still makes it sound like all sorts of craziness. John 5 is just, yeah, he doesn't even deserve a last name. He deserves a number or something because it's just, he's just an impeccable guitar player. I want to see John 5 live. I've never seen John 5 play. I almost got the chance to see him with Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson. And I remember you texted me like, "Oh, I'm not into Manson." I'm like, I'm not really even going for Manson. I want to see John 5 and Rob Zombie.
I saw Rob Zombie with John 5 around Christmas time 2009 at the Hammerstein. And John was just an amazing performer and guitar player. So I'd recommend anybody to go see him in concert, whether with Rob Zombie or with his solo group.
Yeah, I just had to go to the concert when they had a freak monsoon that shut the whole entire show down. That sucked.
I know. All right, Bobby, next.
We have Tattoo the Earth back in 2000.
Yep, 2000 at Giant Stadium.
I mean, that was the metalgasm of bands. And the ones I remember seeing, Seven Dust, Sepultura, Slayer, Slipknot, Metallica playing a 2-hour set to close it. Getting lost in the parking lot afterwards for an hour, trying to find my way back to the car, finding my way back to the car, drinking with cops in the parking lot after the show. All of that plays into the part of this making the list.
I almost died during that concert. Twice.
Now, was that before or after I ran into you?
So...
And then later I got lost and couldn't find the car.
They had like a little concert outside before in the parking lot. And I got I got a heat stroke. I like literally passed out by the time it was time to go into Tattoo the Earth. I passed out and like woke up a half hour later or something with this bottle of water somebody left for me. But I guess they knew I must have been passed out from heat stroke because there was no bottle of water when I passed out there.
Yeah.
I remember fighting to go up as close as possible, not to get in the mosh pit at that time because it was spraying hoses.
Oh, at the little stage?
Yeah, I was outside the little stage the whole show, so I burnt out from that. And then when the real show came on, like I literally passed out. I missed like I think the first act on the real show when they got into the big stage. And then they started spraying hoses. I fought to get near the holes. I was like, fuck it, just spray me with water.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, I remember them spraying the hoses. That was certainly followed by, crowd surfing all the way to the front of that show.
I remember literally pushing everyone out of the way, like to no end to get to water. So it's sad that won't make my top 10 list. That concert, not because it was a great show, but I mean half of it I feel like I was delirious for. And then I almost died going home because we were in the back of the car. Janine was driving us, and literally an 18-wheeler rolled on top of us. I literally hear like this crunch time. I'm asleep in the back. Jay's asleep in the back, and Brian was asleep in the back. And I hear this crunching sound. I open up my eyes. There's the wheeler and truck right over the top of the back window. And so
Jesus.
Brian starts screaming. I'm just like, what the fuck at the top of my lungs. Janine's like swerving the car away because the guy fell asleep at the wheel on the 18-wheeler. And Jay is still asleep during the whole entire thing.
I'm not surprised by that.
So, yeah, I almost got crushed alive. I almost died from heat stroke. So 2 times I almost died at one concert. And it wasn't from a mosh pit.
So that was a memorable show, in other words.
It was memorable, but I can't really remember the music much.
Trust me, the music was awesome.
By the way, it is true. Jay could have slept through an air raid siren.
He did eventually wake up after we kept pushing him to wake up, and he just screamed at the top of his lungs like a little girl. Which is understandable, but there's a giant freaking wheel above your head. And the window's breaking, by the way. It's slowly cracking like it's an action movie, like where they're pushing against it, like a monster's gonna come out. It's literally cracking. You see like the hairlines going across the back window. Like, so Janine swerves the car out of the way. If she didn't swerve the car out of the way, we would have basically got crushed and died. Janine would have been fine, but she's in the front seat, but we would have been fucked.
Nah, if the tire had hit Janine, Janine would have popped the tire. She would have been fine. Janine's not. But how'd you guys get back? Did you guys get back in the same car?
So the guy actually drove away. We never got his license plate. He drove. He went after you. I guess he woke up. Janine swerved this way, and the guy started swerving this way. So I guess he fell asleep at the wheels. What I'm speculating, because it's a truck driver. Mm-hmm. And then he like you got that little gap where like basically cops go by on the side. Mm-hmm. So he just shot off into that and bullied everyone out of the way. So we ended up in New Jersey Turnpike Police Station, and we had to wait for Janine's dad and Brian's dad or something to pick us up. If the car couldn't run, car couldn't function.
Well, I'm happy to say Janine is alive and well today. 4 beautiful kids, and she's awesome. And glad you're all right, kid.
Yeah, I kind of wish I didn't have heat stroke during the concert, because I really couldn't appreciate it too much.
Of course, I'm glad you're all right too, Matt. I mean, you, Brian, and Jay. That was, oh my God.
And Brian is married to Janine's cousin still to this day. They have 2 kids.
The crazy thing is, like, I left for Greece that day, so I was on a flight by the time I think Seven Dust had already hit, and Matt and Janine and Brian and Jay were nice enough to call me and wish me a safe flight before I left. So thank God you guys are okay, because otherwise that would have been the last time I would have spoken to all 4 of you. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I've had a lot of near-death experiences. Lou saved my life too. Why not? Let's put that on there. Good job, Lou. You saved my life.
What are you talking about? The death metal concert at Voodoo Lounge?
Voodoo Lounge.
We'll talk about that story on another episode, but we'll talk about 10 worst concert experiences. So we'll add Tattoo the Earth to that for future reference. So you mentioned Rammstein earlier before. So Rammstein is my next choice. This is my ticket stub from the Jones Beach show. The only thing that would have made that concert better was if Matt was there. There's certain toxic influences in our lives that are no longer there. All right, you're next.
So next I'm going to say is Slayer with Lamb of God. I guess you say farewell tour. Now,
Jones Beach.
Yep, I'll put that on there. I've seen Slayer before. And maybe it's just I haven't gone to a concert in so long. Maybe it's because it was like the last time I got to see them. Maybe it's just the fact that they're old as shit and they can play like amazing, like they never age. The concert was great. Yeah. Thank God Janine was with me.
You're right. That show was great.
So I have to put that there. I also always want to see Lamb of God. I wish I saw them in their prime, but it was still nice to see them anyway.
I had the chance to see Lamb of God. Actually, I had tickets to their concert. It was them, Killswitch Engage, Unearth, Every Time I Die, and Nora at Club Chrome in South Amboy, New Jersey. And we had tickets, and we saw the first 4 bands. But then, like, one of the guys that I went with wanted to leave before Lamb of God took stage. I'm just like, I don't want to leave. I'm here to see Lamb of God, too. They're like, well, we want to get out of here before the traffic gets bad. I'm like, they haven't even taken stage yet. So here I was at a Lamb of God concert, and I didn't get to see Lamb of God. So to that guy that I went with, I just like to say, fuck you, asshole. Thanks for nothing. But I did get to see Lamb of God twice. Ozfest 2004 and Gigantor with Megadeth 2006. They're amazing in concert. Randy's voice sounds like it dried out a little bit, but you sing his style, of course it's going to go that way. All right, Bob, you're next.
Okay. I'm going to stay on the Slayer tone, only this show is fucking amazing. The Big Four at Yankee Stadium. Anthrax, Megadeth, Slayer, Metallica, And this is why I know Slayer's on another level. When my friend, I went with my best friend who is not a metalhead at all, doesn't listen to metal, sat there for Slayer and came back and was like, Jesus Christ, they put on one of the best live shows I've ever seen. The stage presence was just ridiculous. Tom just up there playing, Kerry up there going nuts. Oh, forget it. That was easily one of the best performances I've ever seen.
2 questions. First question, was that like the last New York concert with the original lineup of Tom, Kerry, Jeff, and Dave?
I think they've played at least once more after that.
Okay. And of the 4 bands, which I think I know which one your favorite is, so but I'm still gonna ask anyways. Which one was your favorite, and which one was the best performance of the 4 that you saw? And I have a feeling it's gonna be
Slayer, both.
I figured. Okay.
And you know what? Who surprised me? Anthrax put on such an amazing show. When I got there, the place was half empty, 2/3 empty, and they still were amazing.
Which is funny because they're a
Megadeth.
New York band.
Megadeth was okay at best. Did not like Megadeth. And by the time Metallica came on, they were absolutely amazing, but I was just so tired at that point. Especially because I was in the pit for Slayer. Came out bleeding. It was fun.
Oh.
The only time I was ever in a Slayer pit. So that was another bucket list.
You see, I've been in a Slayer pit, a Tattoo the Earth, but I don't really remember much. I finally recovered by the time Slayer came on. I do remember that.
I went in for Angel of Death, so as soon as that one came on, I'm like, fuck this. Threw my friend away, went right to the pit.
Well, if you're going to go in for a Slayer song, it might as well be that one.
Yes.
All right,
Oh,
so
no. It wasn't. It was God Hates Us All. I apologize.
that's my second choice. This band is one of my favorite bands of all time. They were one of the first power trios that I fell in love with. Of course, the first song that I remember from them was a big radio hit that they had in 83, 84. The first album of theirs that I listened to was their second album called Regatta de Blanc. Still one of my favorite albums to this day. And I got to see them for their reunion tour in 2007. Now, I'd given my wife the option. I said we could either see this band or Genesis. Them and Van Halen did reunion tours that year. I didn't think she was as big a fan of these two of Van Halen as the other 2 bands. So I gave her the option. She said, well, let's see this band because chances are they'll probably break up first. Ended up not happening because they extended the tour to the next year. And it was one of the most amazing shows I'd ever seen. And that band is the Police at Madison Square Garden in summer of 2007. Say what you want about Sting, but the Police, I think, are one of the greatest groups of all time. And having the chance to have seen them in concert, wouldn't trade it for anything. Matt, you're next.
The next one is got to be Tool at Madison Square Garden.
Was that October 2001?
Yeah, I'm guessing. I don't know these timelines, man.
We were in college, Matt.
Yes, we were in college.
2001.
Was Phantom?
It was. I was annoyed that I couldn't. Me, Jay, Jessica got tickets. We sat outside line to wait to get the Roseland Ballroom tickets, and they were like sold out instantly. She went in. She was the first one in. Me and Jay were right behind her. And she got tickets and nobody else did. I'm like, what the hell do you mean it's sold out? There's 3 of us here. We're ahead of everybody. How the hell is it instantly sold out? And then they played Madison Square Garden. And they put on an amazing show.
I think
it's just
Phantom was the opening act, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was at that.
It's like an event when you see Tool. It was just, there is no band that plays shows better live. Sure, Rage Against the Machine to me, I will say, is the best live show when it comes to being able to get amped up and crowd presence. It's a good show for an adrenaline rush, but Tool is a work of damn art when you see them live. It's an experience. So they're number 2. They're not number 1 though.
By the way, you mentioned Jessica. Big shout out to our friend Jessica Spinelli. She has her own network that you can download on your Roku stick called the Music Network. Please go support her. She is out there supporting independent artists and independent music. So give Jessica some love. We love you, Jess. All right, Bob, you next.
So this one again has a little more about just the whole meaning of the show. I'm going with about a little less than 3 years ago. Foo Fighters played at Jones Beach, and it was probably the smallest venue I'd ever seen them because I'd seen them a bunch of times, and it was more special because one, the tailgate. If I kid you not, we had about 20, 25 people at this tailgate. We had grills set up, like 2 or 3 coolers just filled with beer. It was a shit show. I went with a whole bunch of my friends from high school. And 2, the bigger reason why, because Sam had never seen them and they were her favorite band and not one of her friends likes them. And I had known that since I'd met her. I had gotten the ticket like maybe a week before I met her. And the concert was 6-7 months away. So for 6-7 months, I had to sit there and try to find a general admission ticket to go to bring her to the show. So, and the price was more than double resale value. 3 days before the concert, a friend of ours that was going canceled. I immediately took that ticket.
That's a stroke of good luck.
So, and
I'm sure she
she
was
had
appreciative.
An absolute amazing time. It was right. We stood right in front of the stage, right next to Dave Grohl, basically. We could grab him from where we were. So, and besides, they're one of the best live bands I've ever seen too.
So let's talk about Foo Fighters. That same concert you went to with Sam, somebody else wanted me to get them tickets. I was like, hell no. I saw how much they cost. It was stupid expensive.
How
Yeah.
much were they?
Well, the face value of the general admission was $150. The resale was going for well over $300.
Yeah.
They never dropped. They maybe dropped to like $250, like a couple days before the show.
Okay, I know Groupon. Sometimes you could buy like 4 tickets for like $100, like nosebleeds. They didn't even offer them.
No, those were expensive too.
The Groupon tickets were expensive.
Because to me, there's no real point in paying for really up close seats unless there's a mosh pit. It's like that's just me for shows. Unless I'm gonna have like front, but they're so expensive, I never really would pay for front seats anyway. So for me, it's like there's no point in getting tickets. So I was looking at nosebleed, and I'm like, I'm not paying $150, $180 for nosebleed. Get the hell out of here.
Mm-hmm. They're ridiculous. We got them we went to the pre-sale and got them. That was the online. It was the only way. Like me and a couple friends, all of us at the same time, just we bought the max we could get, and they were all GA. So hence why I had to go and get another 1 extra GA.
I do love the Foo Fighters though, and another band that only gets better with time. So, and Dave Grohl is just a nut when it comes to his love for music. I mean,
did you see the Hanukkah sessions?
No.
He did 8 days of songs with their producer in his house, just like a room, and they're playing Jewish musicians' songs, like one a night. They did for 8 nights in a row. They released them, one of which they did "Sabotage" by the Beastie Boys.
I gotta check that out then.
Did you see him battling the little girl from like England? They do like drum battles together. It's kind of cute.
I heard about that. I didn't see it, but I did hear about that.
It's really adorable.
I saw a drum battle between Dave Grohl and the drummer of this band, Animal, and they both were tired by the end of it. They looked at each other and said, "You win."
To me, he is like the god of rock music of my generation.
Yeah, and he's like one of those guys where like there's just no pretension about him. I mean, I look at it this way: if Lemmy from Motorhead thinks you're a cool guy, you must be a cool guy. So, he won the Lemmy points. So,
but
check out his. Have you ever checked out his Probot album though? That's a great album.
I've heard Probot. Yes.
Yes, I love it. All right, so my number 2 concert, Ozfest 2004, was Black Sabbath with Ozzy, and this was right after Ozzy had his ATV accident. The second stage had Every Time I Die, Unearth, Bleeding Through, Atreyu, and God Forbid, and a couple of other bands in the rotating slot of the second stage. The headliners of the second stage were Lacuna Coil and Hatebreed, Lamb of God, and Slipknot. The main stage was Black Label Society, Superjoint Ritual, Dimmu Borgir, Slayer, and Judas Priest reunited with Rob Halford, and Black Sabbath with Ozzy. I took my wife to go see Jason Mraz at the Beacon Theater, and I'm not really a Jason Mraz fan, but I went with her because she likes him and I wanted to go with her. So she said, I'll go see a concert you want to go see next. And I said, well, I really want to see Ozfest at Jones Beach. She said, okay, I'll go with you. Never saw a girl from Hicksville more scared than when she saw the Wall of Death during Lamb of God. But let me tell you, though, she stuck it out, and she said there are 3 favorite bands that night, aside from Black Sabbath, because they were just amazing that night. She said that Lacuna Coil were great. She thought Slayer was great. And during Judas Priest, it was nuts how this worked out. During Judas Priest's set, it was thunderstorming and raining. They opened up with the song Electric Eye, and I tell you, the thunder and lightning struck at the crucial points of the song. And she asked me, she's like, is this part of the show or did they time this out? I said, I don't think so. She said, this is amazing. So we had a blast with Priest. Yeah, Ozfest 2004. That was the best Ozfest I'd ever seen, before or after.
Never got to see Ozfest. Always wanted to.
Yeah, I've never been to Ozfest.
I wouldn't go to Ozfest because I didn't want to sit through Crazy Town to see Black Sabbath.
What? Is that the Come My Lady? Yeah. Be My
No,
Butterfly.
Yes, that's the one.
Oh, that is it?
Ah, beautiful, man. That's the greatest song ever.
Yeah, they completely lifted that from the Chili Peppers. Okay, so next is our honorable mentions. So these are the bands that didn't make our top 10, but they're worth mentioning. So, Matt, who would you say?
Tattoo the Earth for me, only because I was like half delirious, and I think it was probably an amazing show, and Bob already put it on the list.
All right, Bob?
Okay, I got a couple. I'll do them very quick. Roger Waters and MSG, because who the fuck, it's Roger Waters, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Pink Floyd, one of the greatest bands ever.
Mm-hmm.
See, that was amazing. I put on my honorable mention U2, because they were the first show I ever saw when I was 16 years old. Giant Stadium, an amazing, the Pop Mart tour, great show. Third would be Fu Manchu, because they played like 3.5, almost 4 hours straight. Fucking great show. I don't know if you're a big fan of Fu Manchu, but
No, I love Fu Manchu. Where did you see them?
that night, I don't remember. Might have been, oh God, it's a place, it's a small venue, like a couple hundred people. There's like a main floor downstairs, and upstairs there's like a couple tables you could sit at randomly.
Manhattan or Long Island?
Manhattan.
Okay.
Small little venue, but absolutely amazing show. I've seen them twice. They're unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm going to include Foo Fighters again, because I saw Dave Grohl play with a broken leg at Citi Field. He came out in a big throne, leg up, playing. I couldn't fucking believe how good he was. At one point, I think he did stand up and actually play the guitar.
All right. My choice for honorable mention has to be Clutch. I've seen Clutch 4 times total. Twice at Irving Plaza. First time with Corrosion of Conformity. Second time with Candiria. Third time I saw them was at the Crazy Donkey. That was in 2007. And it was an afternoon show. And the last time I saw them was at the Paramount in Huntington. Opening act, there were 2 of them, but the one I remember was American Sharks. They were pretty good. So the concert that I'm going to pick was the Crazy Donkey one, because that place only fits 500 people. It was still daylight out, and Clutch just played a ripping set. I was at the front of the stage. Yes, I was getting my head kicked in from the crowd surfers, and I didn't care. It was amazing. Clutch is one of my favorite bands. Love them. Other bands I'm going to say, I'll mention 2 more. One of them is Coheed and Cambria. I saw them at the Hammerstein with Avenged Sevenfold. I like Avenged. Coheed killed that night. And the other band, I saw them at an abandoned pool in Brooklyn, McCarran Pool Park, Government Mule. Matt, you might be familiar with who Government Mule is. It's Warren Haynes of the Allman Brothers, or formerly of the Allman Brothers. It's his band. They did a 3-hour concert that night, and my God, like, you want to talk about a guy that just lives, breathes, eats, shits guitars. I mean, Government Mule did the best cover of a Black Sabbath song that I ever heard. They covered War Pigs. So that's how much. And so if you're covering my favorite band, the best out of everyone that's ever touched them, there's something special about your band. So yeah, Government Mule. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions. All right, Matt. So your favorite concert experience? Go ahead.
It's one that neither of you guys went to. Woodstock, '99. Nothing tops it.
No.
I could sit there and tell stories all day about that. Technically, I guess it's cheating because it's 3 days of work for concerts.
Who were
The
the
days
best
of the
band?
fire.
Who were the best bands you saw on that bill?
Metallica's the best band by far. Just like you were talking about how Erin and the lightning coming overhead, and she thought it was an effect. The same exact thing happened when Metallica took stage. The lightning was going off while it was doing For Whom the Bell Tolls. In the very beginning, as the bell would go, the freaking lightning bolts are literally flying over your head. You just think it's about the downpour, but you hear the lightning bolt. You see a giant, literally the bolt of lightning going across the sky. It's like they couldn't pay for these effects. And then like it was really like lightning right when they started playing One. It's just like on top of that, I was literally 4 people behind the stage. I got all the way up front because everyone kept getting tired after the other shows, but I was a smart one. I didn't actually go in the pit during this whole thing. I had a giant ass bottle of water so I can keep getting ahead little by little. It was like, I believe it was Kid Rock. It was Limp Bizkit. I forget if it was Kid Rock before Limp Bizkit or whatever, but I was there before Limp Bizkit. I was there when break stuff happened. And as the pits were going on, I just used that to slip in and get closer and closer. And then Rage Against the Machine played. And then you had Metallica. And you had Korn. It's just like a phenomenal night. Yeah, Metallica was just legendary that night. Out of all the bands I've seen live, out of all the performances, single-handed best performance was Metallica at Woodstock for me.
Did you stay long enough for the third night to see any of the bands that day? Like, did you see the Chili Peppers at all?
I saw the Chili Peppers. I saw Flea's dick. He flashed everybody.
All right.
I think it was the third night that Godsmack went on. You probably know this stuff more than me. I don't remember what night everyone was on.
I thought Godsmack and Seven Dust were the first night, not the third night.
No, they definitely weren't the first night. They were maybe the second or the third. I'm not sure.
Matt actually talked about this this tour. I also went to the tour about a week earlier and had seen them in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania for Tool in 2001. And that tour and that show is the best show I've ever seen.
You went everywhere during that show. We also went to Syosset.
No, not that one. I'm talking about the one that you went to at the Garden.
I don't even remember how many you
That was a different Tool show we saw in Syracuse. No, I went to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Before that. And then saw them a week later at the Garden. They played 2 nights at the Garden. I remember getting tickets as soon as I could for the second show. Once I saw this show, it was absolutely amazing. I mean, they just put on the best live show I've ever seen. Tool.
I just remember, I think it was Paul, like, oh, we're going to go to Syracuse to see Tool. You coming? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, me, you, him, and Ray. And some of his other friends also went.
I'm just thinking to myself, as I'm going, I'm like, as we're driving, I'm like, how the fuck are we driving all the way over to see Tool? But fuck it, it's Tool, we have to.
Why not?
Have you guys seen any of the Tool side projects in concert? Like Perfect Circle or Pussy Forever?
I've seen a Perfect Circle. They almost made my top 10. Almost.
Me too.
So they, I guess, can be an honorable mention.
Yeah, throw them in my honorable mention every time. And I've also seen Pussifer too. And they were all right. Pussifer was all right, but Perfect Circle's amazing. I'm annoyed I didn't see him on the last album.
All right, I'll throw.
I only seen Perfect Circle one time, and that was when the first album got released.
Is that in Hammerstein with Snake River Conspiracy?
I'm gonna guess so, but I don't really remember.
Yeah,
I was at that concert too. So you know what? I'm gonna throw that.
I don't remember you there.
I went with our friends John Gervais and
Oh yeah, I remember meeting you guys at Penn Station.
Yeah, and
But you didn't see me there at Hammerstein, right?
it was at Hammerstein, and I
Was
remember
it-
our friend Paul. You went with Paul, and Paul came
Yeah.
up to me and he said, "Yeah, I went up to that DJ from K Rock Booker, and I told him you're an asshole."
No, his friend did.
Oh, his friend? Oh, I thought that was Paul.
Yeah, his friend got into a fight with him.
Because that sounds like something Paul would have said.
You know, it wasn't him. It was his friend who went up to him and told him like he sucked or something. So like Kane yelled back at him. So later on, Kane saw him again. He's like, "Oh, listen, I'm sorry. You know, I shouldn't be like that with my fans." Our friend just turns to him and goes, "Dude, I said you sucked. I don't like you. I'm not your fan. Go away from me." Ah, K-Rock. Yes, that was that show.
Hmm. But I'm gonna throw in that Perfect Circle tour and that Tool tour from October on my honorable mentions too, because they were amazing concerts, probably some of the best. All right, so my number one is my first concert, and here's the ticket stub for it: Reunited, Black Sabbath, Ozzy with Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward. Opening act was Deftones. Direct support was Pantera. And
I was
yes,
gonna throw that in my honorable mention too, actually, because that
Deftones or
was
Pantera.
no that concert
Okay.
because I went to a Nassau Coliseum,
Hmm.
and at the time I just wasn't totally into metal. Like I wasn't fully into the metal. I was just slowly getting into it, so I feel like I couldn't appreciate Black Sabbath for what it was, or any of those bands at that time. So I feel like it would have been an amazing concert had I been more open to know what the hell. I didn't even know what Pantera was when I went to that concert.
I
So
mean, this was at the time where Phil was definitely suffering from his back pain, and he wasn't doing, he was self-medicating. And I was kind of aware of it just by watching him, but seeing Dimebag Darrell in concert was just, it's like, to me, Dimebag Darrell was the continuation of the groundwork that guys like Jimi Hendrix and Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen laid. So, to see somebody from that school, especially in 1999, where all the guitar players just wanted to play new metal and none of them were doing guitar solos, Dimebag was doing that, and he was just on a whole different level, of what a lot of the guitar players are doing. And to see him and his band on the same stage as Black Sabbath with my ultimate guitar hero, Tony Iommi, and seeing the Deftones for the first time, hating them before they started, loving them by the time they were done. I mean, it was a life-changing experience for me. So that's my number one. All right, cool. So we're about to wrap up this episode. That was our top 10 favorite concert experiences. So I'm going to ask you guys one final question. Once this pandemic is over and the concert industry is open again, who's the first band that you guys would like to see in concert? Matt, you first.
Rob Zombie with John 5.
Bob?
Tool.
Makes sense.
There's no point I don't want to go see them. Or Perfect Circle. I'll stay with them. If they toured instead, I'd be more than happy with that.
I get it. For me, I would have to say, and this is a band, I'll choose a band that I've never seen yet, but I would love to, would probably be the band Periphery. I think I'd want to see them. Only because I'd like to see a band that I haven't seen yet, that I'm a fan of. So that's my choice. All right, so we're closing this as we are one day away from 2021. So anyone have any New Year's resolutions they don't plan on keeping?
No, I don't believe in them.
I had the resolution to play my guitar on drop D.
I have one question. Do you remember 20 years ago what we were doing on New Year's Eve?
I do. I was stood up.
I was hoping that all the power would go out so I could go steal guitars.
Me and Matt ran down the block to make sure to see if all the lights were on. If there's somehow power had run, then we were going to start looting.
I was going to go to the nearest Sam Asher Guitar Center and get a bunch of guitars.
Unfortunately, that did not work.
I thought Guitar Center was in bankruptcy, yet they're still in business. Go fig.
I mean, if they're going to go bankrupt, can they sell me some 90% off guitars? I'll buy them.
Yeah, that's cool. Yes.
I need more
Liquidation.
7 strings.
So are you officially a 7-string guitar player? Anything less is
This is
uncivilized to you? Oh, that's right. That's a 6-string. Okay. Well, let me ask you this though. So your girlfriend Cindy, that sounds so British. Bought you your 7-string Jackson Dinky for Christmas, and like, how do you like it? I mean, compared to a 6-string, is that your go-to now? I mean, I know you still love your Ibanez as well.
I can't really say I played it enough to really care, but I will say, like, when it comes to standard tuning, it just felt natural to be a 7-string than a 6-string. But my Ibanez is drop D. I'm never taking it out of drop D anymore. I've kind of come to the conclusion I'm playing in drop D for the rest of my damn life. And screw standard tuning. I don't know what I'm going to tune my 7-string to be quite honest. Double drop D?
I think you're finding it. Eventually,
I'm thinking about it.
Eventually, you need to tune your 7-string to Cabbage, Cabbage. I sent you a video of a guy that actually did that on a 7-string. That was insane.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I cannot play standard.
I'm not one to talk. I have four guitars all in different tunes. So
I will play everything in drop D. Drop D whole step, drop D half step. It's always going to be dropped. Like, I just dropped this. This is a whole step down, and I dropped it to a C. It just feels good now. Now I can play it. When I was playing with Bob, I was like all like weird, like stiff. Now I'm just like playing around with it all day, and it's normal.
That one's a drop C.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, but all right, cool, man.
This one's a drop C too. Let's jam.
All right, you guys go jam. I gotta run.
All right, cool. Well, anyways, we're about to wrap up this episode. I'd like to thank my round table, my 2 dearest friends, Bob Mango and Matt Mikolow, for joining. Please go and subscribe to Matt's pages, Coco Mocha Media on YouTube. Also check him out at Alphaflex Personal Training.
Alphaflexfitness.com.
And also check out his girlfriend Cindy Jairam's podcast, The Good News Podcast. Please subscribe to that so you can download every new episode. Is that all your plugs, Matt? Anything else you want to mention?
Oh yeah, if you're looking to buy, sell, or rent property, I got you covered. I'm a licensed real estate agent.
That's true. Check him out. Bob, anything you'd like to plug?
Not yet. Got a couple things coming soon, but not yet.
All right, that's fine. When you're ready, definitely please announce it. And remember, my platform is your platform. Really happy to have both these gentlemen on my show, guys. Thank you for joining me. I just want to say, please, if you guys like what you hear, check out Music is Life on all available platforms where you can download and subscribe to podcasts. Don't forget the YouTube page, Music is Life Podcast on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment. I'm interested in what you guys have to say. Also, hit me up at musicisLifepodcast@gmail.com. Want to give a big shout out to Rat's Review Network, which is a network that Music is Life is broadcasted on. Big shout out to Wayne and the Rat's Review crew, Greg and Nate. Also, Ralph Vieira over at Vieira Vault and his YouTube page, Almost Human. And also to Eric and James over at Beyond Bushido on Rat's Review. And also, don't forget to check out some of the other great podcasts on the Hammond Media Group. And that's it. Want to wish everybody a very, very happy and safe 2021. And hopefully we'll see you guys at the concerts. We'll get out of this pandemic sooner than later. And, just stay safe up until then. So, Matt, Bob, thanks.
And I got my guitar.
Matt,
I'm able to listen to you
have a
anymore.
good night.
And take care, everybody. Remember, music is life. All art is valid. I don't know. For me, Pantera was all about time. I didn't really... Hold on, my voice cracked when I said that. Let me say that again.
Oh, he's choking up. He's crying.